I'm going to Ohio. I'll be there for a few days, whatever the case is. It's a new place. There's got to be something haunted. So I found a place called Landoll's Mohican Castle, which had reportedly been haunted. I'll book it even if I do it by myself. But I'm like, okay, I could do it by myself, but why do that when I could enjoy it with other people? So the first people I thought of were Scott and Christy. So you guys got roped into my obsession, and here we are. The first people I thought of were Scott and Christy. So you guys got roped into my obsession, and here we are. Uh,
Here we are.
here we
I wouldn't say roped in though.
It
are.
didn't take it didn't take much.
I
Like
was
you said,
trying to play
hey,
devil's advocate a little bit.
hey, you want to do this? And I said, yeah. Let me call Christy.
And I think you were calling Christy at the same time I was texting
Yeah,
her. So it was
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We're doing this and you're coming with us. Uh, but one of the many times, okay, fine, I'll go, but I can't stay all night. And
Exactly. Oh, famous last words.
right there till dawn. Uh,
So Chad, since you had been the one who had invited us, you know some of the history of Landoll's castle. And would
yeah,
you like to share that with everybody?
of course I will. Uh, so now today, uh, Landoll's Mohican Castle. It's a hotel and it's way out in the middle of nowhere. But
Yes.
it's a pretty cool little spot. But it was originally built like in the 90s by the Landoll family. After they sold their publishing company, they wanted to live in a castle. So they built this house that literally looks like a giant castle. Um, time went by and he says, you know what? This is a cool place, but we want to share it with the world. And they turned it into this little hotel resort. Well, it wasn't long after the place was built, though, they started to experience some weird things. And the guests checked into the hotel and they started experiencing weird things. So they started to research the land a little bit more to find out, is something supernatural, something ghosty, something paranormal going on here. European settlers came over in the 1800s. In this case, it was led by Jacob Hyde. Eventually, the community they had their own disagreements amongst themselves, um, where the settlers had split over some religious conflicts. One group wanted to have church service because they were very religious. Uh, one wanted to say, "Hey, we're in America. We should speak English. This is what the people here do." The other group says, "Well, but we're from Germany. We want to continue our church services in German." I think it was the Hyde family, the one that kind of came over. Uh, they wanted to have their services in English. Basically said, "Look, if you want to do your German stuff in the German services, do it elsewhere." Uh, so the German speakers left. Uh, but when they left, they were told, take your graves with you, take your dead with you. So they unburied their dead and they relocated them to a new cemetery further away from than the original one. So there's two cemeteries that are there. After that, shortly, sometime later, the church, the Hyde's church that spoke English, was mysteriously burnt to the ground. Nobody ever knew for sure who it was, but two and two together kind of makes sense.
So we did have a few experiences there. It and then it was the first time that the three of us had ever done anything like this together.
Like a group effort, investigative team.
So so yeah, it was our first time doing this together. Like thinking back, it doesn't seem like much happened, but for it being our first time, I think what did happen was enough for our first time. Let me ask, okay, Christy,
Yes.
what was your favorite part of that night with everything that had happened?
The well.
The well. Okay, so why don't you
The
tell
well.
me? So what do you remember?
With the well, I definitely remember we had EMF detectors set up, which when asked if a specific person was with us, they would light up and constantly go off. Well, the strange thing is, now Landoll's it wasn't exclusive to us, so they had a wedding going on, things of that nature. But when people were passing by close to where we were at the well, it stopped.
Well, that's where that guy scared in the middle of the night who was into his car.
Yeah.
As soon as they were gone, the EMF detectors were back to like full red again.
So
almost like we.
That was on
I think
point
by
for quite some time.
EMF detectors, you mean the little miniature REM pods?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the REM pods out. We
REM
had, I mean, that was really the big thing, but it took a while for those to start up.
Right.
It's like we had to build that trust.
So in my mind, if because like I said, it was a little over a year ago. If I'm remembering it correctly, those little REM pods did not start going off until Chad mentioned the church fire.
Stevie?
No, the church fire.
Oh, okay.
The church fire, yeah,
church fire, and they went off nonstop for 10 minutes. Like we literally had to turn them off.
Yeah, where the well was mere feet away from where the original church sat. Is there anyone here with us? Is there a presence with us? If there is, if you want to touch one of these like that, make it go off, make it light up. Got that one. Thank you for doing it. This is over where the church used to be too, right? Like right near the well. Because if this is right around where the church was, it could be if there were people inside the church that may have... Oh. Was that what it was? Were you inside the church? Wow. I know my favorite, because I had talked about the two cemeteries. It was interesting because when we were talking to the woman giving us the tour before we started, of course, the two cemeteries had been mentioned, and she had talked about Hyde Cemetery, which is literally right there next to the parking lot of the hotel. So everybody says, "Oh, there's some great stuff here that happens," and then all this stuff is reported with Sarah and her daughter, mother, whatever. Um, but I says, okay, but you mentioned in our walkthrough that they unburied the graves, the German corpses, and they relocated them to a different cemetery on the
Yes,
property.
yes.
What happens there? And she looked at me kind of like stupid for a second, like,
I
now
don't
that I
know.
think
Nobody's
about it,
ever been there.
no one's
Yeah,
ever asked that
no one,
question.
no one asks.
No one's ever been there. I'm like, well, is it accessible to us? Can we get there from here? Or is it, you know, back covered in brush or what? It's like, oh no, you can get there. Just nobody's ever done it.
It's very secluded. It was very secluded.
If you didn't know it was there, you would have never found it.
Right, right.
Even
Especially,
during the
especially at night.
daytime, I don't think.
Right, especially at night.
But yeah, we were like, nope, we want to go bright,
Hmm.
bright, but early while we can and go to the cemetery, especially if no one's ever been there before. Um, and if we ever have the opportunity to go back there, I would like to revisit that cemetery and tap into whatever potential energies or spirits. Are you getting it elsewhere or like at these others, or is it just for Mary?
That was the first place that we were. And my phone's in my back pocket.
Yeah, look.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
These things keep going up and up, like at every grave.
Dale.
Seidel
1912
to 1917.
1917.
So 5 years old.
Guys.
Yeah.
Years old.
Since you brought up kids and Christian already said his name, I'll bring up my favorite. My
Okay,
favorite.
talk about your favorite kid.
My favorite part was when we were sitting out on the patio, and we had been in communication, or we had been interacting with Stevie, who was said to have been, I do believe, a little boy that had drowned on the property.
I think that's what something like that.
Something like that. But I can remember us, interacting with him out there on that patio. Like we were interacting with him. I want to say that he was, if memory serves me correct, because like I said earlier, I haven't watched these videos in quite a while. But I want to say that he had, like, we had been interacting with him, asking questions, going back and forth or whatever with the questions, and with the EMF detectors, he was making it go to the colors that we were requesting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, and we had gotten the name Stevie from a spirit box. It wasn't an app; it was an actual straight up spirit box.
Can you make it light up again?
Would you like to sit here with us?
Have a seat. Samantha? Or maybe Sarah?
Stevie?
Is it Stevie? If it's Stevie, turn it red. Come on, keep trying. Oh, there you go.
There you
go. Hi, Stevie. Wow. Is it okay that we're here with you?
Stevie, do you like to go in the pool area?
You do like to go to the pool. Do you want us to go to the pool to speak to you later?
Is it too hot in there?
Pretty hot.
I agree.
Did you guys hear that behind me? Or was it something else? Stevie, was that you knocking inside?
No? Was I just hearing things?
But it was it was a fun night. And I think that
Like
it was
not
an
a lot
eye
of
opener in a
not
lot
a
of ways.
right. Yes, it was. Like not a lot of paranormal stuff happened. Um, but it was a good way for the ParaCousins to break that ice and form that bond.
Mhm.
And that's exact. I mean, even if nothing had happened paranormally, I don't know. If that's
Yeah, sounds right to me.
even if nothing paranormal had happened or not, it would have been okay because that's where the bond had really started for the three of us collectively. So I know. So Christy's favorite portion of the night at Landoll's was the well. Chad had
Yes.
it for cemetery. Mine was the pond.
Oh, no, 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 no,
My
no.
favorite part of that night was the pond. So we're walking down and we're going like the waterfall. It's a man-made waterfall. It had been turned off,
Mm-hmm.
and Christy's leading the pack. You know, we're walking into what was the wine cellar, and Christy was leading the pack, and I was following behind. And to get back there, you know, you had to walk around this little like 4 foot deep, 4 foot by 4 foot round pond.
This is a boring story. Can we get to the
Little body of water. So Christy's leading the pack. I'm right behind her, and Chad's right behind her. Chad watches Christy walk around it. He watches me walk around it, and he turns around all right in. That